Hello and welcome to this tutorial on Python functions. Let's start by understanding what a function is. A function is a reusable piece of code that performs a specific task. It takes inputs, called parameters, and returns an output, called a result. Functions are useful for organizing and separating concerns within a program. To define a function in Python, we use the def keyword followed by the name of the function, parentheses containing the parameters, and a colon. Let's see a simple example of a function that adds two numbers together. In this example, we've defined a function called addNumbers with two parameters a and b. The function calculates the sum of these two numbers and returns the result. Then, we call the addNumbers function with arguments 3 and 4 and store the result in a variable called sum. Finally, we print the result. Now let's move on to function parameters and arguments. Function parameters are the names used when defining a function to accept inputs. Arguments are the values passed to a function when it is called. In our previous example, the function addNumbers has two parameters, a and b. When we called the function with the values 3 and 4, those values were the arguments. We can also use default parameter values in case no argument is provided. Let's see an example. In this example, we've defined a function called greetUser with one parameter called name. We've given a default value of guest to this parameter. This means that if we call the function without providing an argument, guest will be used as the value for the name parameter. We can see this by calling the function without an argument, which will print hello, guest, and then calling it with the argument John, which will print hello, John. Finally, let's learn about return statements and functions. A return statement is used to exit a function and return a value to the caller. The return statement can also be used without a value, which will cause the function to exit and return none. Let's see an example of a function that calculates the product of two numbers. In this example, we've defined a function called multiplyNumbers with two parameters x and y. The function calculates the product of these two numbers and uses a return statement to return the result. We then call the function with arguments 5 and 6 and store the result in a variable called result, which is printed as 30. That's it for this tutorial on Python functions. You've learned how to create, call, and use functions with parameters and return statements. Keep practicing and exploring more features of functions in Python.